So Ron DeSantis debated Gavin Newsom. I think Newsom was the one who challenged Ron DeSantis. And it's totally pointless because DeSantis is now largely irrelevant. Newsom is essentially just gearing up for a presidential run. Newsom is trying to establish some clout. This is a very weird debate because he's not running for president. He is. Like, it kind of brings DeSantis down to even accept this debate, because if you're a presidential candidate, accepting a debate from a non-presidential candidate kind of, it's pretty weird. It's odd. It's very obviously being done for clout purposes, which, hey, to be fair, whatever. I am familiar with the world of content creation. And from what I've heard, Newsom actually did really well. Now, I don't like Newsom at all. I think he's a slimy piece of shit who's been undercutting progressive legislation in California because he has aspirations for a presidential run, and he doesn't want to be thought of as being too progressive for the whole country to vote for him, That being said, the entire debate they had was 90 minutes. And the question is, do I care that much? And the answer is, I'll decide after seeing a bit of it.
He refuses to take care of the border. He refuses to hold the drug cartels accountable. This is the vision of Biden, Harris, Newsom.
I support border security. I think the asylum system is broken. I believe that we need...
I understand that.
I'm the only guy here that's a border state governor. You're trolling folks and trying to find migrants to play political games to try to get some news and attention so you can out-Trump Trump. And by the way, how's that going for you, Ron? You're down 41 points in your own home state.
Everybody?
Biden administration.
Well, that was a pretty good zinger right there. You can tell that Newsom really is just here to get in the zingers. Oh yeah, Hannity was moderating this, so I guess it also gives the impression that Newsom's kind of like, fighting on enemy ground.
In the last 3 years, it's been a master
Joe
class
Biden
of job
paying you
creation.
tonight?
3.9%.
I thought this was state versus state.
But it's about the United States of America. I thought this guy was running for president of the United States. If
You
you're
are
running
too.
for a
You just won't
are you
admit
running
it.
for a third
You
term?
just
Sounds like
won't
you're
admit
running
it.
for a
You will not
third-
admit it.
Is Joe Biden...
Was the entire debate this antagonistic, like with them talking over each other? A big sort of cut to DeSantis here as well is the fact that he's only this tall because he's standing on like a foot of high heel right now. But even then, look at him. He looks like an ugly, miserable troll. And Newsom looks like a slimy politician, but that is a step up from ugly, miserable troll.
in experiencing this cognitive decline? Is it a danger to the country? Do you find when he speaks, what is your reaction to it?
Yes, he's in decline. Yes, it's a danger to the country. He has no business running for president. And, Gavin Newsom agrees with that. He won't say that. That's why he's running his shadow campaign.
We'll take Joe Biden at 100 versus Ron DeSantis.
Anyone else feel like Newsom kind of looks like Joe Biden? He's got like a Joe Biden Green Goblin. Like, am I thinking of Joe Buscemi? He's like got a toothy old man kind of lean face. You know what I mean? He does look a lot like Romney. Yeah, there's something. Yeah, it's like Green Goblin Joe. Like if not Steve Buscemi, somebody else. It's the haircut and the hairline. Yeah, to an extent. Yeah, just like a toothy old guy. If Joe Biden put on the mask.
Day of the week at any age. You had quarantines. You had quarantines. You had checkpoints all over the state of Florida. By the way, I didn't say that. Donald Trump laid you out on this. Dead to right. You did that.
True.
You followed science. You followed Fauci.
That's not false.
He followed. I didn't say that. Donald Trump laid you out on this. Dead to right. You did that.
True.
You followed science. You followed Fauci.
That's not false.
He followed science. He followed.
Jesus Christ, he sounds bad there. Okay. Again, I'm only watching a couple of minutes of the whole debate because this is like an incredibly trite political performance, but just these clips make DeSantis look really bad. Like DeSantis like gargling out, "That's not true." Jesus.
You had more kids locked out of school.
You followed science. No, I didn't. No, it sounded like he was crying.
for a longer period of time in California than anywhere else in the country. It was the working class kids. It was the middle income kids. His kids were in private school. They were in class in person.
Slow down. I want everyone to be heard. If I can ask you, I really do want this to breathe. I want this debate to breathe. I want it to organically develop. To do that, I need both your cooperation. I don't want to be a hall monitor. It's not my style, all right?
This is a book that's in some of the schools in California.
What? All right.
In Florida, this is not consistent with our standards, called gender queer. Some of it's blacked out. You would not probably be able to put this on air. This is pornography. It's cartoons. It's
Your motherfucker came to the debate with gay porn in his pocket. Me too, by the way. That's always the biggest debate. I'm going out Tim Pool. You know, I'm hitting up DC. I'm out here in my pocket an entire goddamn Yaoi Dojin. Just a whole, just like too big, too. Like, full-on A11 paper size, 12 inches by 8.5 or whatever it is, you know? It's stuffed in my back pocket like a mechanic with a rolled-up newspaper.
Aimed at children, and it's wrong. So this should not be in schools.
Those books, do you believe that's appropriate?
Oh, somebody in chat said it's a fake censor and that it's a strap-on. I don't know. What's it called? Gender queer nudity page. Is that true? Yeah, it's a strap-on. I mean, it's still sexual content, obviously.
For school districts to teach kids, yes or no?
Come on, that's not part of the curriculum. They're not teaching
those
kids
are those are books that were in school.
Hold on. The bottom line is you are on a book banning binge, your state. 1,406 books, 3,362 in this country.
You didn't answer.
Florida's
what about those books?
Florida. That's not, we don't provide for K through third grade education, that kind of curriculum. It's just made up. These guys make it up. It's part of this cultural purge.
Should it be?
It's just a made
what grade would it be acceptable?
What I find offensive, Sean and Ron, what I find offensive.
Vosh, that book was recommended to educators, not the children, to help teachers understand genderqueer students. Yeah, maybe I just missed out, like, generationally or whatever, but I graduated from high school back in 2011, and I really just don't remember there being a bunch of pornography in my West Coast, California, Beverly Hills high school. You know, I just don't remember that being there. If it was there, I feel like I would have known about it, because that's the kind of thing that students tend to know about, because they act like, you know, tittering dipshits about it. Like, you know. I mean, maybe like the year after I graduated, because I graduated in 2011, but they invented trans people in 2014. So maybe after that? They admit it's not in the curriculum, but are more annoyed with him not banning it in their hypothetical. That's so stupid. Do you have to ban every book that isn't specifically in the curricula? Like, does like the California state legislature have to go through every like pornographic book and piece of media ever made and been like, this specifically cannot be in school? You know? The problem is, if you ban even if you have something that sounds like it's really, really fine, like, you know, banning this, which shows graphic depictions of genitalia, like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. But, like, I don't know, what if there's like a medical text or something that might come under, you know? Ultimately, at the end of the day, stuff that pertains to curriculum really should be left to educators. If there's something really bad out there, then go to local media and talk about it, you know? That's what Republicans have been doing, but they've been doing it with the intention of, like, procuring book bans, you know? You really don't want to establish precedents of the state just like especially because legislatures are tards, you know, just like willy-nilly banning every thing they think is inappropriate. Lots of shit is inappropriate. A lot of stuff that's inappropriate to do around kids, by the way, is not only legal, but can't really be outlawed, because a lot of it is so like ephemeral and abstract. Like a teacher looking at a female student and doing like a subtle jerk-off motion can't be made illegal, because the motion is so like abstract and ubiquitous that like, what would you even prosecute there? But like, obviously that's sexual harassment. Like, so with the idea there being like, can you imagine if the state legislature was like, yeah, we're actually making it illegal to fold your hand into this shape while doing this motion anywhere below the waist but above the knees when looking at, like, can you imagine them doing that? What if instead you had like a school curriculum policy? It was like, don't be weird and creepy. Don't be creepy or wet. And then that would fall under that, and that would break that rule. And that because the teacher in that case would be creepy or wet, and then they just get kicked the fuck out. Doesn't that make more sense than a legislature having to like specifically define the motion? Does that make sense? There is a reason why it is better to leave stuff like this up to like the jurisdiction of the school board and like educators and the people who make those decisions than it is to like defer to the state to ban, because even if you think the thing you're going after is bad, making a jerk off motion of female students bad, so you know, there you go, the level of like unspecificity that you're engaging in when you target it with the gigantic bludgeon that is book bans can actually make the problem worse or like confuse the issue. Is this a common law versus civic law thing? It is a leave the you know, what render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, okay? When it comes to what books are appropriate in school, you know, if we're talking edge case shit or whatever, like talk about it. Talk about, you know, the subject with the school board, you know? But if you're going to do this big like, look at what happened in Florida. Florida was like, yeah, we're just going to get rid of the sexual content. Then they banned all books that even mention gay people. And then now there are teachers that literally cleared out their entire school libraries waiting for a whitelist of allowed books. And they started banning any book that was even remotely progressive. They started banning books that talked about the Holocaust. Like, the moment the state gets involved in book bans, everything goes downhill really quickly. This is not controversial, okay? There is a reason why book burnings are like the universal symbol of authoritarian regimes. Like, it's so straightforward, you know? I'm not saying every single book is good or should be in like a high school library. I'm saying that there are ways to address that aren't 1984 shit.
Is a very significant number of these books happen to be LGBTQ books.
Joe Biden is in the pocket of the teachers union, and so is Kamala Harris. That's why they fought
by the way,
school
it's not
openings
Kamala Harris.
when he
Shame
came
on
in
you.
there.
It's Kamala
when they had
Harris,
that in
Ron.
there.
I love the implication that the incredibly powerful teachers union, so powerful that it has secured wages for its union members of $1 a year, controls the president.
Biden came into office and he brought in the teacher union to be able to. This is a map of San Francisco.
Poop map.
There's a lot of plots on that. You may be asking, what is that plotting? Well, this is an app where they plot the human feces that
Poop
are
map. Poop map.
found on the streets of San Francisco.
I made that map, by the way. When I last visited, I went poop hunting. Poop map. Wait, I want to see the poop map bit. Hold on. That's what I want to see. DeSantis poop map. Here, this is from the Daily Signal.
They've really empowered lawlessness and drug use. And, you know, Gavin Newsom at one point tried to say that California was the freedom state. And I just kind of laughed, like, you're locking people down, you're doing all this. But then I thought about it. You know, California does have freedoms that some people don't, that other states don't. You have the freedom to defecate in public in California. You have the freedom to pitch a tent on Sunset Boulevard.
Hell
you
yeah,
have the
brother.
freedom to create a homeless encampment under a freeway and even light it on.
Republicans will say they're in favor of individual liberties, and then they really have an issue with an honest American homesteading and using an outhouse where he feels is right, honestly.
Fire. You have the freedom to have an open-air drug market and use drugs. You have the freedom, if you're an illegal alien, to get all these taxpayer benefits. So those are freedoms. They're not the freedoms our founding fathers envisioned, but they have contributed to the destruction of the quality of life in California, and the results speak for themselves. People are leaving the state because they have failed in addressing the homeless population.
Well, I love the.
Oh, I remember this back and forth because I saw people talking about this. More people leave California to go to Florida, but per capita, more people leave Florida to go to California, which I think is probably a better estimate to use here. A larger percentage of Florida's population leaves for California than California leaves for Florida. Wait, really? Yeah, the rent prices in Florida have skyrocketed lately, so it's not like Florida's even the cheaper coastal option, though Florida does have the better beaches.
Brand on freedom. I mean, here's a guy who's criminalizing teachers, criminalizing doctors, criminalizing librarians.
No, I
and
want to learn about the poop map.
women that seek their reproductive care. You're making it harder to vote. You're banning books. I mean, spare me this notion of freedom. Ask the folks at Disney about freedom and free enterprise. Ask the folks at the Special Olympics.
Huh? I want to hear about the poop map. Tell me, I want to hear about the poop map. I don't want to hear about the Special Well, I kind of want to hear about the Special Olympics and the poop map is the thing. I want to hear about both. But why are these clips all so small?
and address the murder and gun violence in your own backyard.
So this is the slick politician. You put up the rates. He has 500 per 100,000. Florida is 250. So that's almost twice as much. And he's trying to spin that to say California's doing good. People are leaving California in droves, largely because public safety has collapsed. They have, I mean, you go, when Californians come to Florida, one of the things they'll say, it's almost like an out-of-body experience. They can go to the store, get toothpaste off the shelf, pay for it, and leave, because in a lot of these places in California, everything's under lock and key because they...
That's true. That's true. That's probably the case in Florida, too. I bet if I went over to Miami or Orlando, they probably also have, like, those stupid, like, cages for the shit, you know?
Basically legalize retail theft. They have chosen in California to put the interests of the criminals over public safety. They treat, they're easier on sex offenders. They're easier on all these crimes that are leading to a...
Source? Here's the clip of the poop map. Okay, I'll look. In the UK, they put cases on blocks of cheese. To be fair, I would also steal a block of cheese.
Collapse in the quality of life. And if you just walk around San Francisco, you will see, and I think it's interesting, Gavin Newsom was mayor of San Francisco. So he took the San Francisco model, turned that into a template for California's collapse. Now the left wants to take the California model and use that as a template for America's collapse. We cannot let that happen.
Wait, I got to...
Governor, no. I got to...
No. Florida, compared
Governor,
to San Francisco, is 126% higher.
Governor, let me bring up...
It's 84%
The next question dovetails into this.
It's 75% higher. What?
Let me also say,
what are you talking about when it comes to this?
I know you like to jabber.
By the way, those are all easily fact-checked.
I know you like to lie.
Anytime you're uncomfortable,
he put the statistics up there.
Those are all facts.
Your crime is higher.
What are you doing about
know.
By the way, I do want to clarify, crime is a huge issue in California, like a uniquely bad issue in California, and it's all the Democrats' fault. Democrats have, mostly Democrats, have horrendously mismanaged at both a state and city level. Like one of the greatest indicators of like the current level of incompetence and dysfunction in California is the state of the Pacific Rail. The high-speed rail they were going to build, which like has cost them already an ungodly amount of money, and they haven't even started. Like everything about this, like the big mistake that California made was voting for a governor who was previously in charge of San Francisco. Why would you ever do that? Why would you ever take a look at somebody whose CV is, yeah, I was in charge of San Francisco, and go like, oh yeah, this is the guy we need running the state. Obviously, this guy is competent and definitely not a psychopath. Isn't that partially Elon's fault? Yeah, Elon did it, but man, California let him. Like that's not that, like you can't be like, oh, those, you know, poor Californian legislatures and you know, at every level, all those people and all the money they spent, like they were hoodwinked by one guy saying he would privately build his new theoretical techno-futuristic solution to the most populous state in the country having proper public infrastructure. Like no, no. They listen, Elon may be a piece of shit, but California is run by the kind of people who get conned by Elons, you know?
Gentlemen,
what are you doing about the gun murder rate in your state?
We'll let the audience look at the numbers, the FBI numbers, and decide. According to the gun control advocacy group, Every Town for Gun Safety, okay, California has the most, as you support, I know, Governor, restrictive gun laws in the United States. Florida has the 19th most restrictive. Yet, if you look at the year 2019, when each of you took office,
the violent crime rate back in 2021 was nearly identical. Yeah, I think it's gone up. It's more for California now than it is for Florida, I think. A lot of it is just because California mismanages its homeless situation so badly.
California has had 21 mass shootings. Florida has had 9. Now, that is according to a USA Today, AP, Northeastern University database data. Keep in mind, a mass killing is defined as the intentional killing of 4 or more victims, excluding the deaths of unborn children and the offenders by any means within a 24 period of time. I believe, Governor DeSantis, you get this first. Go ahead.
Isn't that Anna Kasparian's whole point on crime? Nope. And careful, Benjamin. All right, there are we've got retard limiters on chat, okay, and nobody's immune, not even people who donate $500. So Dems' incompetence in Cali makes them equally bad as Republicans? No. Wait, but isn't it though? No, we did a whole video where I talked about the Young Turks and Anna Kasparian's take on crime and shoplifting and homelessness, and it was pretty dumb. Her position was not crime is bad and California Democrats mismanage it in the city level. If it was just that, then nobody would have disagreed with it, and there would have been no controversy.
California wants to do is they want to make it harder for law-abiding citizens to defend themselves. Then they go easy on the criminals who are perpetrating the crime. They don't stand up for the men and women of law enforcement. That's why a lot of people have left the state, because they don't get the support from the communities that they need. And, you know, Gavin told another lie. He said we made it easier for felons to do. Felons are not allowed to possess firearms. That's federal law. That's been long-standing.
No background checks.
That is an
No background checks
absolute
for
lie
concealed
that
carry.
he's saying
No
like that.
background
That has
checks.
nothing to do
You'll
with
get your
buying
time.
or purchasing a weapon. So that's just a lie, another lie that's coming up. But here's the thing. People are leaving California.
How do Dems mismanage crime at a city level? Oh, God, guys, that's a whole thing. And that's a city-by-city thing. Like, crime management is largely a city thing. LA, San Francisco, San Diego, Sacramento, Oakland, like, all of these, there are broad problems in California that are sort of I guess reflected in city policy, and there are city-specific issues. But as somebody who grew up in Los Angeles, like a list of problems with how Los Angeles is managed could be more simply delivered by listing the things that aren't mismanaged. Los Angeles is like a failed city. It is not even a real city. Los Angeles is an amorphic. It's an endless concrete sprawl upon which things happen. It is a giant's corpse that a wide range of bacteria and fungal colonies have grown on. Okay, and you look at the bacterial colonies and you see them thrive, and you mistake it for the health of the giant.
In droves because he has failed to stand up for public safety. They are on an ideological joyride to let people out of prison early, to go easy on them. Heck, your buddy, Gavin's buddy in Los Angeles, Gascon, he doesn't even prosecute. When you have, when I was in Southern California for the Reagan debate, a lot of the women tell me they have to take off all their jewelry just to be able to go shopping, because otherwise they're going to get mugged. That is the reality that people are facing in California.
That's true. This is always happening.
Right.
Gavin can try to put lipstick on that pig, but the fact of the matter is he has failed the people.
Is that true? I mean, I don't know. I'm sure at least one woman's done that. Not really, though. My understanding is that the increasing, like the crime epidemic that California is dealing with is more in line with, yeah, Anna, is more in line with like retail theft, shoplifting, and people doing like car break-ins, stuff like that. I think violent crime has gone up as well. Wait, muggings aren't called violent crime, are they? In a lot of robbery. Yeah, robbery is. Okay, yeah. Because mugging is a kind of robbery, right? Yeah. So, okay, yeah, just making sure. I'm pretty sure, let's see. California rate of violent crime. It's gone up. Yeah, here you go. This is the violent crime rate. So this includes stuff like mugging and robbery. Probably that's most of it, like that and assault, not like murders and stuff, you know? See, California has gone up quite a bit since 2020, while the rest of the country has gone down. California is definitely doing something specifically incorrect here. What would you say is the least bad, lowest crime city in California? I don't know. There's like hundreds of cities. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It's a shithole. Here. Los Angeles crime is both rising and falling. Shouts crime wave. Violent crime in LA is down this year, and more than a little. Homicides are down 24%. Rapes are down 17%. Love it when rapes go down by 17% or more. Robberies, 12%. These are significant drops, and they are not confined to LA. Violent crime is down in San Francisco and San Jose as well. But that's not the whole story. At Rampart, to take just one example, the crush of property crimes is constant. Stolen vehicles, burglaries, and thefts from autos top the division's weekly crime list. Solving them is made more difficult by staffing shortages. Once a force of more than 10,000 officers, the LAPD's ranks are now just more than 9,000 and dropping. Good. These guys. Useless, worthless. Yeah, like police officers solve crimes. Yeah, like you look up the data on how many crimes they solve, and that's definitely something they do. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's love my average experience with a police officer, which is they go to a place and they really care about what happened, and then they solve something or do anything other than take a report. God damn, look at this. Personal or other theft, 42%. Burglary, 14%. Motor vehicle theft, 10%. Robbery, 4%. All up. But rape and homicide are down. Well, I'm glad rape and homicide are down. That's pretty good. I don't know where I'd go if I left Cali. I've been here my whole life. Lots of lovely places in the world. Even Michigan is better at this point. In some ways, yeah, I'd say so, for sure. Why aren't California DAs prosecuting criminals? What's their logic? Well, they do. People do go to jail in California. Sometimes petty criminals get turned back out because the idea is that the resources that it would be required to prosecute them are not worth the effort. Like it's not worth getting them off the street. Our prisons are overcrowded as it is. In the long run, the way you prevent crime is by addressing the socioeconomic criteria that lead people to crime. For the most part, that's how you do it, not just by locking everyone else up. There are people in California who understand this, but unfortunately, they're not working together enough on it. And another big issue is that the homeless people are stinky. And for that reason, voters would not smile upon anyone who allocates a lot of money towards bettering their lives. Because they're stinky. Poo.
Of California.
Governor Newsom.
No, I love this guy talking about backing the blue when you dangled pardons for January 6 insurrectionists, 85 of them that were charged with attacking law enforcement. You talk a big game about backing the blue. With all due respect to the crime rate, again, he's not answering the fact that he has a higher murder rate than the state of California, a 66% higher gun death rate than the state of California. And I can easily answer this point. Gun safety saves lives. I don't think it, I know it. And the data bears that out in the state of California. California proudly does lead in terms of common sense gun safety. Common sense gun safety saves lives. You had the chance to do something meaningful. You had a chance to do something on behalf of those Parkland families. You did the exact opposite.
It is true that having stronger gun laws does correlate to lower levels of firearm mortality. Let me see. Yeah, okay. California and Florida are both pretty low with regards to the firearm death rate. However, California is doing better. Click for rankings. Massachusetts, Hawaii, New Jersey, New York, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, California, and then Florida's over here. So yeah. And then, of course, you have Alaska. Not surprising.
You moved in the exact opposite direction. With all due respect, look at your own backyard, Ron.
So
You're
I will
not mining your backyard on this issue.
I will do that because we have we had two radical left Soros district attorneys, like your buddy Gascon in LA. One in
also, isn't Cali's life expectancy higher than Florida? Yes, I believe so. Life expectancy by state. Yes. California's life expectancy is 79, Florida 77.5, though not too far apart. The really low life expectancies are over here in the Bible Belt area. Oh, thank you, Chuck Diesel, too. I read everything. Yeah, I wouldn't get too gloaty about this, by the way. These really low life expectancies are mostly because of rural poor blacks, not because of, I don't know, a bunch of evangelical, radical whites with poofy goatees who hate gay people or whatever. Who's number one? Mississippi, predictably. In Hawaii, they get past 80.
Tampa, one in Orlando. They were endangering the public, and I removed them from their posts. Gavin Newsom has not lifted a finger to rein in Gascon in L.A. That city has collapsed. That county's collapsed.
True.
He is not enforcing the law. So that's just the reality. And here's the thing.
American city.
This is what's happening. That California model,
We're a little
that's
over
been
time.
done in Philadelphia,
15,
Baltimore, all
15 seconds. We got to go break.
Come on. I mean, you're running for president of the United States. You're talking down the great state of California. You're talking down one of the great American cities, Los Angeles. That's insulting. And you're doing it because you're trying to...
Newsom has pretty good debate composure. Unlike DeSantis, who sounds like a whining bitch whenever they start talking over each other, Newsom actually does a pretty decent job of keeping a level tone of voice. It projects a lot of confidence.
Escape the facts that you have a higher murder rate in the state of Florida and the state of California.
We got to
some
take
of
a
the
break.
lowest crime rates we've had in 50 years.
Well, we'll have more with Governor DeSantis, Governor Gavin Newsom on the other side. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
Thank you. Nice meme. Also, apparently this debate ended. DeSantis also could not have been too happy about the debate because, here, look, I saw this article. As the debate between Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis was wrapping up Thursday night, a few minutes past the 90-minute mark that was originally agreed upon, Fox News moderator Sean Hannity asked the two whether they would debate again. After Newsom said he could debate all night, Chad answer, Hannity said he'd extend the debate to a full 2 hours. But after a commercial break, Hannity announced the two were unable to stay longer after all. A DeSantis source who was backstage, as well as another source on the ground not affiliated with either campaign, said Newsom's wife, Jennifer Seibel Newsom, had walked onto the stage during the last commercial break after Hannity seemed to have secured an agreement from both governors to continue the debate, and ended the debate on behalf of her husband. Jennifer Seibel Newsom, according to the DeSantis source, said she had also entered the debate room during breaks to raise issues with how the debate had been going and brought up a remark DeSantis made about her parents' move from Florida to California during the... Wait, was Newsom's wife, like, henpecking? I was talking to a fellow who had made the move from Florida to California, or from California to Florida, and he was telling me that Florida is much better governed, safer, better budget, lower taxes, all this stuff. He's really happy with the quality of life, DeSantis said during the debate. And then he paused and he said, you know, by the way, I'm Gavin Newsom's father-in-law. Is that true? By father-in-law, do they mean because they moved to Florida like it was a bit? The Newsom aide said his team raised several issues with Fox. For one, the printed props DeSantis pulled out on stage were, according to the aides, supposed to be prohibited as part of the ground rules. It was an illegal poop map. Poop map. And the gay porn as well. The illegal poop map and gay porn. Again, powerful debate tactics. Huh. So the wife didn't like the low blows, I guess. It's interesting, you know? Especially considering that this isn't like a necessity or a formality. Newsom's doing this for clout. So it seems weird that his wife would be, I don't know, weird about it? I don't know. Very strange. Very, very, very strange debate. And I only saw a bit of it, too. It was very, very weird. Yeah, I don't really know. Who do you think is the best presidential candidate for progressives right now? Well, there's only one presidential candidate, as the Floridian electors have decided. So, Joe Biden. Easy choice. Everything about the debate was weird and pointless. That's politics for you, baby.